So, is it possible to get more views by posting less videos? I believe that the answer is yes. In fact, I'll prove it to you. And in this episode of the Think Media podcast, we're going to be talking about how to stand out as YouTube gets more crowded, why you need to understand the 3 seasons of content creation and define which season you're in so you know the next moves to make, and also a YouTube secret that I learned from a best-selling author that will make your next video better. But recently, we talked about 7 trends. And one of those trends is high value, high effort, long form content. And I want to talk about the problem that we're all facing. I want to give you a challenge for the next 90 days. I'm going to be talking about the 3 seasons. But when I look back at one of the most successful Think Media videos of all time, it was a high value, high effort, long form video. In fact, it was a 2-hour video. You could call it almost like a free masterclass, almost like a free online course. It literally went through how to shoot a video, how to edit the video, how to upload it, how to design the thumbnail and package it, all in one super long video. And this was posted back on December 13th, 2019. What's wild is as we speak, it's still getting 15 views every single hour. The video has been viewed 2.8 million times. This singular video has grown the Think Media channel almost 40,000 subscribers. And from YouTube ad revenue, this video has generated $31,871. One singular video. And so I want to encourage you that it is possible that one video could help you reach your next subscriber goal. One video could help you get 1,000 subscribers. One video could help you reach 10,000. This singular video grew my channel 40,000 subscribers. But I know what you might be thinking. You might be thinking, easy for you to say, Sean, you've been doing this for a while. Well, imagine if you just got 10% of those results. Like imagine if you posted one video that got you 4,000 new subscribers. So let's break down a few tips as we talk about this and first address the problem. Here's the problem that you are facing as a content creator. Competition is highest for low effort content. Competition is highest for low effort content. There's a lot of information out there right now that talks about how many active creators there are and how few of them are past 10,000 subscribers, how few of them are past 1,000 subscribers. And the stats would tell you 97% of YouTube channels that are creating content aren't making money or not doing very well. But when you dig into the stats, you find that most of them have less than 10 uploads. So they've barely been consistent. You find that when you look at their channels, the titles are terrible. The thumbnails are meaningless. The topics are horrendous. The effort is so low. They just filmed some footage. Here's a pigeon walking around the streets that I'm feeding crackers, titled Feeding Pigeon, and they upload it from their phone and it's not even a steady shot. No effort at all has been put into the content. And then those are the types of channels that are being included in, oh, look at the stats of how challenging it could be to succeed on YouTube. Now, I'm not trying to oversimplify YouTube success. It takes effort, it takes skill. But here's the deal. Competition is highest for low effort content, and competition is highest for low quality content. So here's the big idea. Posting fewer videos and posting fewer high quality videos can actually lead to 5 to 10x more views overall. I want to challenge you. How do you get more views by posting less videos? Posting fewer high quality videos can actually multiply your views 5 to 10x overall. And here's the cool thing. You don't have to spend 10 times more time on the video to get 10 times more views. So it's not like, shoot, what are you talking about? Do I got to edit for weeks? Do I got to plan for years? Like, what do you mean by high quality? No, it's not that you actually have to put in 10 times more effort to get 10 times more views. Oftentimes, spending a little extra time can have exponential influence on video performance. So I want to give you a challenge. I want to encourage you to slow down a little bit and spend time making fewer videos better. And this could maybe happen over the next month, or let's call it the next 3 months. What if you slowed down a little bit and just invested a little bit more energy in your videos? And here's a concept: 20% better can lead to 10 times more views. So whatever that means for you, 20% more time on research, 20% more time on crafting the title, 20% more time on going back and editing it and tightening it up, asking yourself the question, what could I remove from this video to make it more streamlined, more punchy, and higher quality? 20% more effort, not 10 times more effort, just 20% more effort into the video can lead to 10 times more views. And I learned a secret from James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits, which is a historic book. It's a wild case study. Millions and millions of copies sold, perennial seller, constantly selling, will sell for years to come. And James Clear actually, he went from creating massive content, blogging, constantly writing, constantly posting everywhere, which was, we're going to talk about the 3 seasons. It was actually an important stage in his journey. He was refining his voice, he was writing, but then he took 3 years to write 1 book. Now, again, you might be like, easy for him to say. He had, well, you got to go through the seasons. You got to save money or get some momentum. And a lot of times quantity is where you start. But he took 3 years to write 1 book. And now that book is absolutely smashing. It's called Atomic Habits. But here's what he says, and I quote, "The difference between good and great is often an extra round of revision. The person who looks things over a second time will appear smarter and more talented, but is actually just polishing things a little bit more. Take the time to get it right. Revise it 1 extra time." What would happen if before you were rushing to like, I got to upload every day, I'm vlogging every day, I'm posting shorts every day, I'm on social media all over the place, I got to get another TikTok out, I got to get 3 shorts out, I got to post my Instagram today. What if you slowed down, focused on making your videos, your long form YouTube videos, higher quality, and even just invested a little bit of extra time in 1 revision? A lot of times what I'm seeing is we're in this rush and this haste to post so much volume and quantity that if we would just spend even 20% more time on a revision, improving and polishing, we could get 10 times more views. And so let's land the plane just talking about the 3 seasons of content creation, and then let me know which one you're in. So season 1 is actually quantity, season 2 is quality, and season 3 is both. So season 1 is quantity. So where people struggle is they say, well, Sean, I mean, it's the quality or quantity debate. Which one is it? Well, it depends on what season you're in. So if you're in season 1, it's actually about posting as many videos as you can, in my opinion. But here's the purpose of the season. The purpose is reps. The purpose is practice. The purpose is experimentation, finding your voice, your audience and the viewers of those videos giving you feedback. How do they give you feedback? I don't even just mean comments. You post 1 topic, it gets 10 views. You post another topic, it gets 275. That's feedback. That topic resonated more. So you're paying attention, you're listening, and you're building skill sets, and you're making some connections. Maybe you have some people that collab, you interview them, you bring them on the channel. The purpose of season 1 is quantity, is volume, is doing reps. Here's the dangers of season 1: quitting, giving up too soon, impatience, and having the wrong mindset, of getting discouraged and stopping, not understanding the season that you're in. Season 1 is quantity, it's doing volume, and it's even less about the amount of views and impact. It's more about the personal development and the skills that you're learning. And the goal during season 1, which is quantity, post a lot, is to be consistent and to stay positive, is to protect your mindset and to say, even if this work doesn't seem to be working, it's working on me. All work works. This work is working on me. I'm learning, I'm getting experience, I'm growing. And the goal is to be consistent and to stay positive, which brings us to season 2. And I wanted to talk about this today on our Think Media podcast, Coffee with Cannell hybrid show, because this is where a lot of our community are. Maybe you're in VRA, you're a Think Media podcast listener, you have been consistent for a while. You've posted a lot of videos. And if you've posted 30, 50, 75, over 100 videos, then I would argue season 2 is what you need to be focusing on. Season 1 is quantity. Season 2 is quality. So what's the purpose? Refinement. Now it's slowing down a little bit, looking at everything you've posted, everything that you've done. What are the lessons that you can learn? What are the takeaways? What wisdom have you gained? And how can you actually now start posting less videos, fewer videos that are higher quality, and invest more time in them and double down on what's working? You want to apply the wisdom that you've gained from the first season to the second season. And the goal is to achieve more by doing less. This actually has very much been my story. My Sean Cannell channel, which I first posted my first horrible video where I was like, I don't want to be energetic or entertaining. I have no plan. I was actually in the quantity season and I posted hundreds of videos and they were super random. They were like videos of pigeons. I had like a Droid X and I was like, there's a pigeon. You know, it's like they were like just ridiculously weird videos, but you can't stay there. And the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, thinking you're going to get different results. And that's what I was posting all kinds of videos. I was experimenting, but that work was working on me, but I had to take a step back. And like the video I just showed you, as I shifted into part-time and full-time YouTube, I started to really focus on high quality, high effort, long form videos that I wanted to rank in search and connect to passive income streams. And the goal was to, again, achieve more by doing less. It wasn't, I vlogged, I remember, for maybe 45, 55 days straight while I had an over 40-hour-a-week salary job. I was like killing myself to just upload as much as I can. I was exhausted. I would, spend time with my wife and then edit all night. And every single day I was like filming, and literally a full-time job plus probably working 40, 45, 50 hours at a church, vlogging 55 days in a row. But those 55 days were incredible. They changed me. They helped me practice, learn how to be a faster editor, refine my voice. They didn't really have a lot of like lasting success or generate a lot of money. All work works. They were helpful, but I had to shift into season 2. And I feel like this is an important message for our community is you got to refine. And I think in 2024, remember, competition is highest for low effort content and competition is highest for low quality content. A lot of people are going to shoot their video podcast and not prepare. Oh, I don't prepare. I don't research my guests. I don't think about the hook. I don't package it. I just kind of want to go with the flow. I just want to go with like, we'll just see what the flow is. Everyone's just going with the flow, which is lower effort. Like if you have a savant gift, like you're like, I heard, Larry King just goes with the flow. He's freaking Larry King, dude. And I don't think that's true, but like if you haven't been discovered yet and you haven't broken through yet, you got to polish and work on your marketing and your positioning and your packaging and your hooks and all those details. Season 2 is quality. Refine your craft, double down on what's working. And I'm not saying work 10 times harder, 20% more effort in less videos. And then that can bring you to season 3, which by the way, season 3 is optional. You don't have to go to season 3. There's a lot of people who are not going to season 3, or meaning like Ali Abdaal, just thinking about some people that have shared this publicly. He's like, I'm going to make videos when I feel like. That's the season he's in. When I feel inspired, I'm going to make fewer videos. So he's not trying to play a volume game. You look at, Vanessa Lau's back and it's congratulations, like super pumped from the different lessons she's learned and whatnot. She was one of our Growth Video Live speakers, which by the way, if you haven't got your tickets to Growth Video Live 2024, growwithvideolive.com. It's going to be great. But she's said, we'll see what's coming up. She's like, I want to focus on more quality and kind of get off the hamster wheel of quantity. But if you also flip to like the Gary Vaynerchuk model, or if you even look at Alex and Layla Hermosi, like they've invested in team and systems and hiring. And how do we just absolutely do both? How do we have high quality and high quantity? That's season 3. So in season 3, you know what to do and you have the resources to do it. And one of the biggest mistakes 99% of creators are making is they're imitating Layla Hermosi. They're imitating Gary Vaynerchuk. They're imitating Alex Hermosi. And they're trying to keep up with an unsustainable pace and posting insane amounts of volume, not just on YouTube, but across platforms. When I don't care if you use AI, you're gonna burn out. So if you're not in season 3, and the only reason you would be there is I would say you're already full-time, you have a surplus of cash, you have hired at least a few people, you have at least one video editor, And you also have systems. It's team and systems and wisdom and skill that brings you to a place where you can do both quantity and quality. You know what to do. You're actually not still wondering if this is going to work. You only know you're in season 3 when you're like, I'm like Neo, dog. You know, the agents are shooting at me. I'm dodging bullets. This is bullet time. Like I know how the algorithm works. Maybe not in every video, but like I get it. Like I understand this thing. I'm going to put out banger after banger. I'm going to rank videos daily. I'm going to do this thing. I'm no ignorance is not bliss. I can see the lines of the matrix. I know what to do. And I also have the resources to pull it off. That's how you know you're in season 3. And because of the wisdom and experience you've gained, you're hiring help, you're developing systems, and you're now focused on quality and quantity. When Mr. Beast was interviewed on the Joe Rogan show, he talked about his hyper focus on quality over quantity. And he said that he focused on making better videos and talked about how he coached somebody that was getting 2 million views a month, and he got them to like 40 million views a month because of putting a little bit of extra energy into quality. And he talked about how he built a team to handle 80% of the daily activities and business activities that he wasn't a genius at. So he could focus on his unique ability and focus on his craft of putting out a higher volume of quality content. He puts out a lot of content, even though his uploads are, he's got multiple channels. He's got a big business to run, but he's got a big team and systems supporting all of that. And he's got a rigorous pace. In fact, there's a Time Magazine article that just came out that talked kind of about the good, the bad, and the ugly of the Mr. Beast enterprise. But what's the big takeaway is there is the ability to continue to put out high volumes of quality and do a high quantity of it, but not without help. Not without hiring help and developing systems. And so I think for a lot of us, we are in season 2. But let me know, what season are you in, especially if drop a comment. And, if you're on the audio podcast, you could always come over to YouTube or actually leave a review. It's been a minute, maybe. If you have not reviewed the Think Media podcast, it would mean the world. But are you in season 1? It's about quantity and skills and just practicing and finding your voice. Are you in season 2? You're like, this is hitting strong, Sean. I need to focus a little bit more on higher quality. And then eventually I'll get to quantity. And then, this was partly inspired. We'll link this up in the show notes by a book called 10X is Easier Than 2X. I'm actually only halfway through it. I would encourage you to only pick this book up if you're willing to get uncomfortable. This book actually, more than any other book, has made me, I've loved it, but it also I'm like, ooh, it's kind of tough. Like it really is a mindset shifter. And Dr. Benjamin Hardy goes into the science behind the power of less is more. Doing less at a higher quality is more effective than just trying to grind and just get incremental gains. And that's where a lot of people get stuck in YouTube. It's such a relevant YouTube book because where we get stuck is we're like, let me just post another short. Let me increase the volume. Let me just post more videos and let me go live. Let me do more videos and more live streams. And let me just do more. And then I feel the pressure of being on every platform and I'm supposed to build an email list and I'm writing 6 books and I'm developing 10 online courses and let me just do more. And that is a path to burnout. You might be in the season where you're developing your skills, but taking a step up to quality will help you go further, faster. And by the way, if you haven't registered for growwithvideolive.com, we have Dave Ramsey speaking, Chalene Johnson, Pat Flynn, a couple other speakers in the works, and the Think Media team. We have our lead Think Media coach, Brian, leading some really powerful, specific sessions all about YouTube tactics with some awesome guests from our community that are flying in. You're going to be learning from VRA students and from some of the crazy stories and the latest tactics, like what's working now on YouTube and what are some of the big higher level strategies, but also the specific tactics. What are the trends that we need to know about? And then I think most of all, this event won't be streamed. So how do we get in person for human connection to create strategic relationships and friendships with the networking experiences that we're going to create in Las Vegas at the M Hotel? So it's happening in April 24th through the 26th. Growwithvideolive.com is where you can get tickets and fly in. It's going to be amazing. And if you're ready to kind of get smarter, retool your strategy. Maybe you need a fresh breath of encouragement and you just need to be around the right people and get your vision back, your motivation back, your focus back. Maybe you're looking for some fresh strategies. Maybe you're looking for the chance to connect with myself and get to shake your hand, and maybe the chance to, hang out with Dave Ramsey, get a picture with Dave Ramsey at our platinum level tickets. And he's doing a fireside chat. He's doing a keynote session. Man, it's gonna be such a powerful session. By the way, people were like, why Dave Ramsey? Like, is this a personal finance conference? He's a media mogul. He's probably the number one person we could all learn from, whether you agree with him or not, in terms of how do I, as an educator, as an expert, as someone who wants to change lives, as someone who wants to inform and even entertain and educate, multiple best-selling author, multiple media platforms, radio, YouTube, number one personal finance YouTuber. I mean, over 20 million views on like his main channel a month. Like, so he's a media mogul. And then how did he do it when he was just selling Financial Peace University, like out of the trunk of his car, which was his education program to help people get out of debt? How do you do it when you're in the startup season? But then also, how do you scale? I mean, talk about, it's like 1,000 people. How do you also scale your brand when you're a personal brand, Dave Ramsey? How do you scale and start building up even maybe more of a media brand? Ken Coleman, George Cannell, Rachel Cruz. How do you do that? So what an awesome honor to have Dave Ramsey plus Pat Flynn, Shalene Johnson, the Think Media team, our other speakers. And so anyways, growwithvideolive.com is going to be amazing. And I encourage you to go to the show notes. You can check out the link to that. But remember, competition is highest for low effort content. Posting fewer quality videos can lead to 5 to 10x more views overall. And I want to challenge you, slow down a little bit and spend time making fewer videos better. Focus on quality for your next couple of uploads. And what if you went on a improve your quality 3-month focused content creation season? For the next 90 days, I want to focus on quality. 20% better can lead to 10 times more views. And the difference between good and great is often just one round of revision. I'm going to slow down a little bit and make my videos better, my thumbnails better, my titles better, my positioning better, my research and my investment in preparation for the videos better for the next 90 days. I think that'll serve you. And I can't wait to connect with you in a future episode. Smash like if you got value, and comment below. We have 2 guests today that we're bringing on for the Coffee with Cannell show. And as we prepared for this topic, I thought that I would do a little podcast recording. So cheers. Let me know what you're drinking. We're going to drop that as an audio podcast as well. You were just a part of where the sausage gets made. It wasn't even sausage. It's more where the coffee beans get roasted. And my name is Sean Cannell, your guide to building a profitable channel. This is the Coffee with Cannell show. We're going to do Q&A, coaching with guests. I'm excited. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Coffee with Cannell show. My name is Sean Cannell, rhymes with YouTube channel. Super fired up. Grateful that you're here. And we got some liquid IV. We got some Celsius energy drink. Any aha moments from that session? Alan Young says, that's my goal for the next 90 days. We're focusing on quality and then scaling up quantity. Only when we can keep the quality high. Drinking lots of old water. Drinking good old water. Like it. Monster, iced coffee. Cheers. A couple questions have come in as we get our guests in the main room here from the green room on StreamYard. By the way, today's episode is brought to you by growwithvideolive.com. Have you registered yet? Have you got your ticket yet? We do have limited capacity, and it is in person only. So it's not streaming, April 24th through the 25th. And we have limited capacity. So definitely get your tickets. It's going to be about 700 people there. And so pretty intimate, like that's a pretty good intimate, group. We'll have a lot of chance to connect and a couple cool parties and things like that. GrowWithVideoLive.com. And today's is also brought to you by vidIQ.com/think. If you haven't got a 30-day trial of vidIQ's boost plan for just $1, go to vidIQ.com/think. And all of this is in the show notes as well. You can make better data-driven decisions by using vidIQ. And if you haven't started using their AI coach, I think these are the kind of tools that can help you improve your quality. How do I get more views? This is the AI coach connected to my channel, Think Media. So it's cool that, number one, it's cool that vidIQ knows what my channel is about. That's actually a huge light bulb moment. If vidIQ, if the algorithm, if YouTube doesn't understand what your channel is about, you got problems, right? And so look at what it's saying in the AI coach here by just being connected. It's talking about our primary audience, tech enthusiasts, aspiring YouTubers, camera aficionados. It's talking about topics we could do. Ultimate guide to filming budget gear in 2024. Really good. Secrets to viral video success, analyzing the top YouTube trends. I've been touching on that, but that's a great title. Mastering YouTube SEO. I do need to do a new YouTube SEO video. Engagement, upload frequency, video length. Again, that's just the AI coach. vidiq.com/think is for serious creators that want to make better data-driven decisions and have a suite of tools that give them an edge over the competition. So, $1 to try it out for 30 days. You could always cancel if you don't like it, but I believe you'll love it. And so if you go to vidiq.com/think, you can check that out. We're going to welcome our first guest today, Jake Phillips. He's a voice actor, also doing audiobooks. And he's got 3,500 subscribers. And I'm excited to have Jake on the show. Jake, welcome to Coffee with Cannell.
Hey, Sean. Thanks for having me.
Tell us a little bit about your channel and what you've been doing on YouTube.
Okay, so I've been on YouTube for 11 years, something like that. And I found you on YouTube back in August, and that's when I decided to start building. So even though I've been on here a while, it was a dumping ground for years, and I didn't really post consistently or anything like that. And so yeah, I've just really recently started taking it seriously, reading good books and joining BRA and that kind of thing. So
I love it. And what has been your first impression now that you took that leap to start like, okay, let me get serious about this and invest in something like VRA? I mean, just what's the experience been like? Have you found that it shifted anything for you, or just being inside of that environment of continuous learning? What have been the benefits?
Well, just having some focus and direction has been really good, because for a long time, I always thought, well, YouTube, you can't grow on YouTube, you just can't do it. And that was just because I had no direction. And so when I had some direction from you guys, and it just immediately, and my content admittedly is not packaged well. Like, I know that. Like, I'm a voice actor and I've done a lot of world-class stuff. So I know that I'm good at what I do, but I'm trying to put it on YouTube, and I'm very much in the learning process of that. So
I love it. Well, let's hit your questions. How can I help today?
Yeah, well, one, I have a larger following on TikTok. So one of the things that I did early on was just say, I'm going to just start repurposing TikToks and just post a lot. I'll just post. I mean, I've posted multiple times a week for 6 months. And now I'm kind of to the point that I'm out of TikToks, but I'm also ready to have a little higher quality video. If that's what I need to do. And I don't know, I just kind of, I do a lot of audiobook stuff, but it's sort of all things classic literature. And I don't know if I should do just poetry, or just, short stories, or just novels, but I've tried out a little bit of everything that, I watch you on YouTube and my podcast a lot, and I've tried a lot of stuff, and it seems like everything's working, but I definitely want to sharpen things up.
Have you basically posted your same TikToks on YouTube Shorts?
Pretty much. So if it's over a minute, I'll make it a long video and just put a thumbnail on it. And then if it's under 60, it'll be a short.
Okay.
And then lately I've started using Get Munch to cut up some of the longer ones for shorts as well.
Got it. And what is it you want to happen? If we were having this conversation 3 years from now, and your happiness was at an all-time high personally and professionally, what would have had to have happened for you to have reached all of your goals?
You know, I want to provide for my family in a creative way. That's kind of been my goal since working for myself about 5 years ago as a voice actor. And I would like to do that with YouTube specifically. I think there's been a lot of disruptions, AI, for example, that have sort of, they've been sort of taking some business and stuff. And I don't have a victim mindset, but I also want to cast an eye to the future and say, I think YouTube's where I want to be, where I could support my family and live a good life off of YouTube if I didn't have anything else.
I love it. And if you were to create, I've got a tip for our entire community. And I think one of the biggest things, if you're listening to this, that you should be thinking about is creating a blockbuster product. And what I mean by that is, in this industry, the creator economy, it's my belief that your income is directly correlated to the amount of buy buttons you have on your website, or the amount of buy buttons you have on Amazon.com. So for the author, that is a book. For, our chief marketing officer, Melissa Caputo, sister is a very successful, wholesome romance novel author. And she has not only wrote a lot of books, but has also tapped into the space of like Kindle publishing. So as maybe a blockbuster product, you could call Harry Potter, which is multiple books, or Hunger Games. And obviously at that level, but it's not just a book, but it's a series. Silo, one of my favorites, Dust by Hugh Howey. So you could think about a blockbuster product could be a book. It also could be a blockbuster product, could be an online course. It also could be, perhaps more difficult, some kind of a physical product like the SwitchPod. Pat Flynn developed a creator economy solution for holding your camera in a way that other products did not offer. He was solving a problem in the marketplace. But for most of us, it'd probably be packaging what we know. A blockbuster product could also be a coaching program or a mastermind group. I think his name was Jason Fladlien. And if it isn't, then that's a very specific person to mention. It's not. Jason Fladlien, he's a world-class guy about webinars, I believe, about really good at web classes, the $1 billion webinar man. I was trying to think about the guy who created this mastermind group that just compounded through these dinner meetups. And so it's maybe that like, this is the thing I'm going to focus on. And where I wanted to kind of share that broadly with our community is if you can reverse engineer from eventually the thing that you want to happen, then your content can support that thing, which can create money for the mission. So before getting into the weeds of like shorts and videos and all this other stuff, if eventually we could lead to a blockbuster product, now that becomes its own challenge in a conversation for another day. But I just mean also not the 56 different things you create. I mean, kind of like the one thing, like for example, at Think Media, it's Video Ranking Academy by far. And there's even been times when we've been distracted from it. Like a few years ago, we also had a program called Inner Circle. Incredible, but a distraction because we realized like, what's like the thing? And then it was like, well, it should be kind of obvious. You're in it. VRA, the 7 R's. What if we go deeper and deeper? And we've even changed our whole company. Now there's a level called VRA Elite, but it all is on the same thing. And just this idea of like, how can we make one thing really great and then continue to refine it, market it, promote it, improve it, make it better. And I think a good example maybe that you would know is Ryan Holiday, who is not only wrote the book Perennial Seller, but has wrote Ego is the Enemy and Obstacle is the Way, and all these books that are best-selling books. But then if you look at, and then he has the Daily Stoic. And if you look at his YouTube channel, though, his content and all the awareness of his content is a rising tide lifts all ships. He has something on the back end. He also, previous to that, had his one thing I would say was just his email list of the favorite books he was reading. And it was like hundreds of thousands of people. And he just threw affiliate links to these books, but it was at a scale because the amount of people who got on his newsletter, and he was just such a reader, the amount of people who got on his newsletter previous to any of this other, he's been doing that for so long. I would argue, I don't know if that was like enough, but it was probably thousands and thousands of dollars just from one newsletter with nothing to sell other than the books of his passion of reading all kinds of crazy history and literature and business and self-development and just his unique mix. People following him for that reason, opting in just to be emailed like once a month about his favorite books and summaries and links if you wanted to pick up some of them. And so the one thing was a newsletter. The one thing is a book. The one thing is a course. The one thing, and this one thing for everybody listening might take a while to create. But Jake, what would that be for you? Because when I hear, I'm wondering, do you also want to write? Do you want to write a book? What would be the basically the business model that you see for your channel?
Okay, yeah. So yes, I do write. I'm kind of working on a kid's book, kind of a Winnie the Pooh style, animals in the forest sort of a deal, that I would, like to sell. But also, um, I'm a voice actor coach.
Mm.
So tons of people, they're always asking me about it, and I receive payment from it, but also give lots of free advice. I've got a few videos on here that I sort of use in my training with others to say, look, watch these videos and then come up with your questions so we can maximize our time together. Because I'm going to go over a lot of the basics and, something like that as well, but also that's not audiobooks. And so
Well, let me ask you this. Is the one thing you want to happen, because you said full time for your family, would just being booked and being able to raise your prices as a voice actor, at least the midterm goal? Like if you were just like, I'm getting paid really well, I've got a surplus of cash because of that, and how I coach people with voice acting am I on the right track?
Yeah, absolutely. And just a regular, because you can go on Fiverr and get middle-aged male voice, but I want people to say, we want Jake. And that's because of this channel. I've already gotten that a few times, and I'm like, let's do that some more, because you could get anybody, but because of the personality or whatever you heard me in, like you want me, that's kind of, that's an aspect of it as well.
Do you give call to actions in your content to hiring you?
No, not really. There'll be a little, I'll put my, website in the description, but I don't really say that. Usually I kind of cater to people, to audiobook people that they want to listen before bed or whatever. So it's pretty much like that. The Lamb classic poem my dad used to read me before he went to be with the Lord. It's very special to me. It's me reading it. And
that's the audience. How do you get business?
Well, I have a website. I'm pretty mercenary about how I cold call and email people. Like, so I make my money, a living as a voice actor. So I'm on freelance sites. I'm on, word of mouth, all kind of stuff.
Do you have enough money?
Well, I have enough money, but I'd like a little more, you know what I mean? So, as far as, I've been full-time voice acting for almost 6 years. So what I'm doing on that is working, but also as I look into the future, I think I need to do something different, to continue to grow. And YouTube is, that's just where it's at, I think.
So I think so much success. Let's just hit two things as we get ready for our next guest. Let's talk about sequencing. Let's briefly talk about your channel. But I think so much of success is sequencing. And from listening to you, what I would think the sequence of, if I was you, and so you can always take any advice I share with a grain of salt, it's for what it's worth. I would think about, how can I build my online personal brand and leverage my social media platforms to create an overwhelming amount of business and demand for my services, so that I can not only raise my prices, because you at some point have a cap and a limit on how much you can do, but so that I can also eliminate the need for cold calling because of the leverage of social media, YouTube, and personal branding, that I'm so in demand that I have a waiting list to pay a fee that I'm comfortable with, to buy back my time in such a way that I also can do. To me, this is amazing, your channel, but it's a lot more of a creative expression, a lot more of like serving people and inspiration, your love for things that other people love, classic poetry. but it's in its current state, it's not the thing that pays the bills. So when I think about sequencing, and I would always encourage this to our community, it's like, what's the shortest path to revenue? What's the shortest path to more financial freedom or financial freedom? Of course, you're still doing what you love. And I mean, here I am as well. You know what I mean? Like, my wife and I do have financial freedom, but we don't live for money. We live on mission to make a greater impact and whatnot. So we do, though, want enough money for the mission. And this also means team and sustainability. And now it's P&Ls and cash flow to run a business. But sequencing, it's like, get your money right first. And in terms of the content that you're putting out, this content in my opinion, is not the best content to lead to what you're describing. In fact, some of this, it's sort of hard to hire you, in the sense of there isn't even a button that says hire you. There's not a link. There's not a link even to your website that I can see. There's a link to your Instagram and TikTok, but that's just going to send me on a merry-go-round. If I email you, I don't know what to email you about. It does say professional voice actor reading classic literature. Now, that's not bad, but it would seem that generally your YouTube channel is not optimized in any way, shape, or form to generate business for you. And the people it's even going to attract, chances are not going to generate business for you. To me, that's somewhat of a problem to solve. I don't think it's bad. If you're a professional voice actor reading classic literature, great. But that's just different than, so sequencing, I would try to get that right. This is why I like things like ranking video and SEO, because I want enough search engine optimized content out there bringing me unlimited business so that I can have freedom for the next thing that I want to do in the next creative project. I think I also want freedom to write a great children's book. And maybe just a thought, one level higher than writing a great children's book would be a children's character and creating IP that could be multiplied. So a blockbuster product to me is Curious George, obviously, but more than a book, it's a character that has multi-million-dollar IP. And so you could say, did I have a blockbuster book? Yes, but I had a blockbuster intellectual property media empire, Curious George, right? And so just a thought. And then you think about the sequencing. Back on Ryan Holiday, he wrote a trilogy. So he started from day one on The Obstacle is the Way, Stillness is the Key, whatever the middle one was, Ego is the Enemy, and then eventually boxed him. But the whole thing was architected. So I think that's what I hope is the value of shows like Coffee with Cannell and conversations like this, thinking about sequence. So I would maybe think about that first, so that, and I appreciate your transparency. And of course, we all want more money, but like, it's like that I would think about, okay, how can I optimize for that? Then I would also be thinking about, okay, what's phase two? If I get that right first, because voice acting is paying the bills, how can I maybe create more margin, buy back my time if children's book is the next thing? And then I'd be thinking about, okay, what can I do on my YouTube channel? The only kind of red flag for me, it's not a red flag, but it is that if our creative endeavor, our creative project over here, which is a professional voice actor reading classic literature, is not aligned with winning in the financial freedom arena, that just raises a red flag to me of like, I want to get I want all of my efforts as aligned as possible. That like the channel that I'm doing, at least the first channel that I'm doing, because then to me, it's this idea that maybe I don't really encourage anyone to ever start a separate channel, but I think your opportunity to someday, and you're already doing it, but to like really have a channel that people love in terms of classic poetry, your voice reading them, these incredible stories like The Lamb by William Blake, that's an entertainment. That's a different mission. That's cool on of its own. But to me, that's like working on the creative project before we have our money right. Just my way of seeing it. So when I think about my efforts, it's like, okay, how can I make a video that attracts the right audience, that adds massive value, that we can build trust in a relationship? And then with people like yourself, that maybe over time you feel enough trust to be like, I think I could check out Sean's thing because this stuff is pretty good. And his VRA stuff will probably be pretty good too. And back to blockbuster product, that if I can do that, so now I have bought back my time and hired team. And these days I just bought like 3 Proverbs commentaries. And I've been for years studying Proverbs and Ecclesiastes and Solomon and wisdom in general and biblical wisdom in general. And I'm actually actively working on the next phase of my life, which would be writing and different things like that. That may be 5 to 10 years out. But with the margin that I've purchased back right now, I'm thinking about going back to school, even though I've kind of been in the sense of maybe get a master's in divinity with like my focus on Proverbs and the wisdom literature, et cetera, for all the different things I'm thinking about. But at this point, it's brick by brick in terms of my sequencing. Any feedback from this? Has this been helpful at all? And any feedback and maybe how you're thinking about the sequencing of what you're building?
Yeah. So, I mean, one question is, I 100% agree. I mean, that's great wisdom. Thank you. As far as, if you were me kind of a thing, what kind of pivot would you make as far as the actual content that you're putting out?
Well, so I don't know if I would pivot it, because I mean, I'll just riff on this. I'll say, you reading The Lamb by William Blake, to me, is not going to attract voice actor clients. Fair?
No, that's where I get most of my business from, is people like, I found your thing and I've got this
and then what do they want to hire you to read their audiobook?
Yes, I do lots of audiobooks.
Okay, so they find your YouTube channel on a random poem. How do they find it? Do you ever survey them?
I mean, usually I'll say, hey, how did you find me? And it's usually something like, either I found you on, TikTok or YouTube, whatever. And so that, so the views I get, it's most of them obviously are people that I just want to hear a poem. But then out of those, it's people that say, I've got this voice project and I'd like that voice because I like how you inflect and that sort of thing.
All right. Well, I mean, in one sense, I guess what you're saying then, what you're doing it is working. We just want it to work more.
Exactly.
Okay. So in that case, a couple things I would do. I would like some practical call to actions. Okay. You said there was a link in the description. There is not, at least on this one.
Okay.
And so I would create a description template.
Okay.
YouTube allows you to have a default saved description. Ours has quite a few things in it. 99% of viewers aren't going to go there, but it's the 1% of viewer that you want, and you want to make it explicit. Do not be timid or try to play humble. You want to be like, hire me to be the voice for your audiobook. Click here. Like explicit.
Yeah.
So for the person who's like, oh, I didn't know you're necessarily for hire. And maybe at the end, if you're doing things that are working, this is the advice for everybody. How do people know they can hire you unless you tell them? So that could be optimized description. It could be a verbal call to action at the end of your video. And by the way, if you have a voice project or an audio project and you're interested in me being the voice for that, check out the show notes. Check out the links in the description for getting in touch. Smash like, and I'll see you in the next video. Say it all the time, everywhere. It's not pushy. It's not salesy, especially if it's at the end. It's just letting people know. You just want to educate that you're available. And that was the red flags for me, was not really a call to action to your website on here, not a call to action in the description here, and then even potentially a call to action in the pinned comment, because people read the comments. And the pinned comment for you might say something like, what story do you want me to read next? Let me know. Or what poem do you love? What future video ideas do you have? By the way, like just a little emoji or something. By the way, if you have a voice project that you're interested in working in, get in touch here. I mean, talk about a soft call to action. I mean, get in touch, like just letting people know. So they see it. They might hear it at the end of the video. They see it in the description. They see it in the pinned comments. Make it easy for people to get in touch and to work with you. And then secondly, I would double down on winners. Success leaves clues, make part twos. If your channel has already led to business, now we just want to do more, I would continue to go through VRA, continue to master the 7Rs, and just try to get more views. That sounds oversimplified, but it's like, do what you're doing at a higher level, because if this maybe be a way to say it, like, what is it? Leads. How many clients do you need a month?
Well, it just depends on what kind of project it is. It's voiceover is kind of a wild west as far as.
Just give me a range.
10.
How many clients a year?
Well, I mean,
10 of 3, like of the people that pay the highest for the big projects, 10 short projects, 20 total.
Something like that. Yeah. Yeah. It's like, let's say 10 a month, 2 of them are big and 8 of them are like 30-second commercials.
Okay. So one of the things you could do is, this is somewhat sloppy math, but it's actually pretty good metrics. You could say, how many views do you get a month? 85,000 views. And how many TikTok views? Because TikTok's also good. And you're saying that's leading to business. And make sure your link in bio is optimized and your TikTok bio is optimized to say, hire me, work with me. Okay. So, and how many are you getting now? You need 10, 2 big ones, 8 small ones. But how many are you actually probably getting compared to that target?
Right now, and it goes month to month, 6 or 7, 8, somewhere in there.
So let's call it 6. So we basically need to double.
Yeah.
So really rough math here, but actually very practical for our entire community. If you're getting 85,000 views here, and let's say you're getting 1 million views on TikTok, because it's also, in a way, they're much lower quality views, but nevertheless, a percent of a percent could be clients, then we just need to double. So then what we're solving for is like, okay, my goal is to get my views to 200,000 views a month from 85,000. On TikTok, I'm getting 1 million views a month, making it up. Let me get to 2 million.
Okay.
So let me just improve my hooks, my short form, my topics. Let me just keep, because, and just notice what I said, that you're like, what my social platforms are producing right now, which seems to be this lift. It's like general awareness of some people want entertainment, but then out of it, it leads to business. Let's refine. One angle is we don't even need more views. We need better calls to action and just better capturing of the current attention we have.
Yeah.
But then let's also do the other activity. Let's double the views. And if we could double to 200,000 views on YouTube, from 500,000 on TikTok to 1 million on TikTok, and that's what I'm solving for, and I'm going to use quality and quantity to attack that, then we talk in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days after the hustle has been put in to reach those targets. And you're like, sure enough, now instead of like basically 6 clients, I'm at 12 clients a month. I'm way too busy. I need to push my prices up. But if my current social media activities, measure my views, measure my reach, measure my impact, produce X number of clients, then if I double those views, I should double the number of clients. And of course, it's never that linear, but it also is. It's math a lot of times. It's top of funnel awareness, and 1 or 2% of people end up becoming people that work with me. So let me improve the ability of getting them to work with me, and let me also raise the numbers. And to give some final YouTube advice and any final thing you have to say, I also think things like thumbnails would be a big thing that's immediate for me. I think I don't know if you need to be in the thumbnail. I don't think you need to be in a lot of cases. If it's The Lamb by William Blake, if we go The Lamb by William Blake, like, to me, this one is better. This is a better thumbnail. Because it's just the lamb. It's kind of a, poem summary and just a picture of a lamb. And we did get 15,000 views. We did get 17,000 views here. So I think if you're thinking about cold traffic, and you might even think about, there's a lot we could talk about in like a future coaching session, but I think there'd be some interesting things where maybe you say, hey, or you show up at the end, but maybe during. I think there's an interesting thing with AI right now that could make these almost like, you could have images throughout it, and it could almost be your voice. Hey, Jake Phillips here. Today we're reading whatever. And now you've combined visuals, so you're raising the quality. You see where I'm going with that?
Yeah,
And you
yeah.
could have, you know, you take Dolly, you take some of these other things. Right now, it's going super viral across all social media platforms about how ChatGPT can make video clips. And so the ability to make videos, you reading a poem, there being some interesting visuals that are along that, or just animating some images. And so have you used Dolly or any AI tools yet?
I use Wonder AI for some art, for some thumbnails. I don't really like being in it, to your point, but also on TikTok, like Ben Shapiro, the commentator, he like posted something I had done one time, and that I just kind of got a lot of followers, and I was kind of recognizable for doing Shakespeare. And like, so a lot of times when people come to my channel, they're kind of looking for my face to say, "Oh, that's Jake." That's what I've heard from people.
Well, yeah, listen, I'm saying do both. So I think this idea, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying stop doing that. I'm saying how can we evolve and elevate your content, like from I think less words, less like stronger thumbnails. I think saying "The Lamb" by William Blake is unnecessary when you say "The Lamb" by William Blake in the title. I think if you had a picture of a lamb, legit, this was Dolly just now, and this picture is pretty great. And if like that's so the color here, the simplicity, the emphasis, the lighting on the lamb is 10 times better than the lamb thumbnail with, and I don't think it's read by Jake Phillips, because we're also thinking cold traffic. People already said if they're subscribed to you and they can get to know you in it, and there also could be both. I could see you could start on camera. Hey, Jake here. Let's get into it. And then it starts going, or you show up later. I think there's an interesting Patrick CC, I think is he's doing a lot of cultural breakdown mini docs. And I was watching like this dark and disturbing downfall of Howard Stern. One of the reasons, and 1.5 million views, one of the reasons this video is so great is it's all B-roll, clips, visuals, narration, storytelling, on and on and on and on. But Patrick also, it's hard to find him, but he pops up multiple times. So he pops up, he then maybe gives a call to action. So here he is. Oh man, I didn't click there. Got so close. So anyways, I think that even today's topic of quality quantity is something to consider in regards to, anyways, like it's not going to find it, but that if I'm watching you could create an experience for me to experience William Blake's The Lamb. You could still build your face and recognizability and personal brand. You also could, I believe, increase your retention, and then just best practices in general. And if there's times where you would say, this is why it's the biggest question we want to ask is, what are we trying to achieve? If you're trying to be recognized and be seen in some videos, then you should be in the thumbnail. If we're also trying to just go top of funnel awareness to people who don't recognize you or know you being in the thumbnail is actually a hindrance. Anybody being in the thumbnail. What is the promise of the video? The story being read. I think about stuff that my kids are watching right now, 3 and 1 years old and it's what's the heavy lift? It's the cartoons, it's the images, it's the voice, it's the music. And there's so many faceless channels that are having success. If we want maximum amount of views, then I would lead into some of that. But I'm not saying it's all or nothing. I'm saying we're going to do both. At least that's my understanding of what you're saying. I want to reach a lot of more people, but also grow my voice acting business. So strategically, that becomes your content mix. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Jake, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for being a VRA too. And I think just continuing to crush the 7 R's. You're already having great success, and the future is bright. Future is forward, and grateful for you being a part of our community, and your voice is amazing. And so we're all blessed by it.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate the man of God you are, and your leadership and your great content. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jake. All right, friends, we are an hour in and we're going to have Alex and Maria in just a second. Thanks for your patience. But this is the Coffee with Cannell show. Smash like, what is an aha moment so far? We've covered a lot, and we don't just sit on the sidelines and consume information. At Think Media, we take action. So if you're here live, or if you are hashtag replay fam, drop that in the comments. What have you learned so far? And what are you going to implement next? Let me know. Today's episode is brought to you by growwithvideolive.com. Have you got your tickets yet? Las Vegas, April 24th through the 26th, M Hotel. Fly into McCain Airport, 15-minute drive, check into your room. There's going to be some amazing experiences, amazing networking events, building relationships. The event will not be streamed. We have Dave Ramsey, Shalene Johnson, Pat Flynn, the Think Media team. More speakers to be announced soon. growwithvideolive.com. Tickets will sell out. We have limited space. Literally, the room is limited. We have capacity for about 700 seats total because of the nature of the venue. And so I encourage you to get your ticket before things sell out at growwithvideolive.com. Today's episode is also brought to you by vidiq.com/think. Excited about the tool vidIQ. We've been looking at the AI coach, but there's also incredible things like just making better data-driven decisions and using things like your daily video ideas. Daily video ideas are actually can be customized directly to your channel. So what vidIQ does is it integrates with the API of YouTube and integrates it with your channel's data, looking at your past videos, all that kind of stuff. And so there's tools like daily video ideas. There is the title generator as well. But probably one of the biggest things that's really cool about vidIQ is how it overlays with optimizing an upload that you're working on. And here's what I mean. Once you've installed it, you can go into an active upload and you can get title suggestions with AI Assist. You see this little switch right here? That overlays when you install vidIQ Vision. And you can get title ideas. You can even generate thumbnails. You can generate descriptions, which just help you with some basics on optimization. Don't get me wrong, having like the right words in your description is not the key to YouTube success. However, ignoring detailed optimization of your video is foolish. Why not have a strong title reinforced by a good description, which is some basic metadata, basically. Faster optimization of your tags. And this video we just released is already ranking, it looks like, for YouTube video editing mistakes. 39, it just came out. So we'll see how that rise in the ranks. And as you click the little vidIQ logo, it taps into windows where you can quickly add tags. So the cool thing about a tool like this is it allows for you to see my optimization score here, 92 out of 100. It allows for you to just quickly optimize your videos so you can execute best practices in a matter of minutes. Again, you're just looking for tools to help you go faster. vidIQ will not replace your responsibility of learning skills, putting out great content. It's not some magic video optimization that leads to YouTube success. You got to take extreme ownership and build the skills and build the thinking and serve your audience and invest the time in quality content. But I want a tool that then helps me do all the little things fast and helps me not miss anything. So if you haven't checked out vidIQ, vidiq.com/think, you can get a 30-day trial of vidIQ's boost plan for just $1 at vidiq.com/think. And there's a link in the show notes as well. I'm excited for our next guest today. We have Alex and Maria. Welcome to Coffee with Cannell.
Hello, Sean.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. And I want to thank you for your patience today. I know y'all have been hanging out for quite a long time. And I know we're getting back together. We talked in the past. So give us an update. What are you guys doing on YouTube? What has been your journey like? When did you start? And what are you up to right now?
So this channel started about 9 years ago. I started it on my own initially, doing all sorts of like fitness type of content. And then about 3 years ago during lockdown, we thought, might as well give it a go, and kind of started it off again together this time. So it had a little bit of a rebrand. We changed the type of content to more like tasting foods and that sort of stuff. And then more recently, after we got a bit roasted by you guys, we kind of sat down and thought we need to change something to like focus a bit more on one thing instead of doing all sorts of different things. So we had some like health related issues. So we thought, right, we're trying to cut gluten out, we're trying to cut dairy out. Why not sort of help other people join in on that sort of journey? So we've been doing some recipes for like gluten-free and lactose-free things, and then some reviews to go along with that.
I think also I remember roasting you a little bit, and I appreciate your graciousness to take that. I think I roasted your production quality. It looks like it's been really improved. What are some of the changes that you've made in terms of what camera you're using and gear and tech? And I think it wasn't before there was like the wires on the TV behind you. I was like, it kind of just like looks messy. Like it looks like let's clean this up. So what are some of the changes you made?
Well, firstly, we tidied up those wires that you mentioned. When we got the TV a bit more level. But in terms of actual production equipment, so we got new lighting. We got some like lavalier wireless mics. We got a new lens for the camera.
And a new camera in the meantime.
And a new camera. So yeah, we've improved on a few things in terms of production equipment. Still not perfect, we know that. But I feel like the video that you're playing now is certainly a lot better than, say, one of our previous videos where we reviewed an air fryer. Like I'm pretty, modest. I don't really give myself credit, but if you were to compare this video with the air fryer video, it's like completely different in terms of quality and also the response from the views as well.
Yeah, that's a great case study for today's Coffee with Cannell too. And it speaks to, I just want to acknowledge and congratulate you for the skill sets you've learned in this process. Before we go further, I am curious about that. How have you transformed as a couple, as individuals, by just your journey of starting a YouTube channel? Like how has it forced you to personally level up? And what do you think about your progress in terms of how far you've came and knowledge of things like video editing, communication? What have you noticed?
Yeah, we've definitely learned a lot. I'd say that we kind of share the responsibilities when it comes to the video production. I normally write the script for the videos. Maria is normally uploading all the footage, rendering it and everything. I do the editing mostly. And then Maria, kind of does all the titles when we're posting it on YouTube. She designs the thumbnail. So it is very, I think, 50-50. I do think some of the challenges that we have as a couple trying to do a YouTube channel is that Maria has her ideas, I have mine. And going back to what you said at the start of your live stream, I think Maria is more of a quantity YouTuber, and I think I'm more of a quality, which is where our posting amount of videos has gone down, because it's we've clashed a little bit in our opinions.
Yeah, we've had a few. We had to go at Vlogmas, and we had to take all of that stuff down because it wasn't really getting the reaction we were hoping for, and we just thought better to like take it off and not leave it on to confuse people even more. But yeah, I feel like personally I've definitely grown in confidence a lot since we started doing this, because I still remember like the first time ever trying to film a video, the camera went on and all of a sudden my voice was gone. But now we're like both quite comfortable in front of the camera, so that's definitely improved. There's still room for better,
yes,
but yeah,
it's a point I just kind of want to acknowledge for you and really send you both massive love and respect, but also encourage our community that sometimes when we look forward and compare ourselves to future ideals, it can lead us to sometimes discouragement. And why is growth slow? Man, I feel so far from that silver play button. And when we call it the gap in the gain. This is a concept from Benjamin Hardy, and we're living in the gap between where we are and our future, our ideals. But when we measure backwards, it always leads us to a better mental place. When we measure backwards and we think about how far we've come, and sometimes what we're measuring is, well, we haven't got that silver play button yet, but you said it, look at the confidence you've grown in. Look at how you've changed as a couple, as humans. Maybe sometimes the gap is we're fighting more than we ever have before, meaning because we're working on a creative project and that's hard. And a lot of couples can't figure that out. But the gain is that we're actually deepening our relationship more than it's ever been before, because we are putting ourselves into pressure situations. We've grown in confidence. We've grown in our tech skills. We've grown in our understanding of YouTube. We've been consistent. We've proven that even if we take the Vlogmas videos down, that we can do Vlogmas. While others are watching Netflix and maybe that are just consuming, we've been creators, and there's videos that we can point to that we can be proud of. And when we measure ourselves in the gain, looking backwards, a lot of times we've come a lot further than we realize. And I wanted to share that with you, but I also want our audience to hear that, because so often social media is leading us to kind of a negative mental place by just comparing to others, but also just comparing to where we think we should be, as opposed to measuring by how far we've come. And you guys have really done a great job. And it's cool to be connected with you again and to just see the progress. Your video quality is amazing. It's really impressive.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
It's still, I mean, like we said, it's still not perfect. And actually, one of our questions is probably not really relevant to the live stream today, but one of the questions I actually had was about how the quality is still not quite there, even though we're filming with a 4K camera, even though we've got the lighting set up. It still feels like our setup is really fuzzy. And I'm just, well, we're both scratching our heads at it, but it's probably not really relevant to this.
What's the camera?
It's a Canon M50
Mark II.
Yeah, Mark II.
Yeah, I mean, I would argue this, like, compared to one of the things to bring our community that's watching here live back to the conversation 6 months ago or a year ago, or whenever it was also just that small tweaks can lead to giant peaks. Meaning this, I remember the camera was not level, and not only was the camera skewed, but then the TV looked super skewed, and our human brains tell us the TV should be level, like it should be, you know. And so I was like, there were so many things that were like fingernails on chalkboard in my mind. But what you've improved in terms of, and now the lighting is much more pleasant. You cleaned up the cords. I see the cord hiding, you know? And this is an announcement to everybody watching this live and on the replay about this whole, like take your craft more seriously. Like over the next week, like clean up your space, make some improvements to your background, paint the wall, put up some decor, clean up a little bit, take the camera you already have and just optimize it even better. Spend $50 on a softbox light kit on Amazon. Don't think you have to spend massive money. What I would argue now is that your video quality, your editing, and all of this is of a level that is, to me, is amazing. Like that it doesn't need to be better than this. What it was sort of, to summarize, I learned this in church production and in church media, and I learned that things like good lighting can increase audience attention by like 70%.
Oh, wow.
But a lot of what we were trying to do in church production wasn't trying to overdo anything. What you were trying to do is remove friction. So friction would be, I'm trying to pay attention to the speaker, but the stage is messy. I'm trying to pay attention to the speaker, but like if he's wearing a hat, I can't even see his eyes. The harsh shadows are too harsh. So the point of lighting and good audio was so there isn't scratchiness or fuzziness, or the gain is so loud that it hurts my ears. So a lot of what we're doing in AVLS, audio, video, lighting, and stabilization, is like, why is it crooked? Level. Audio that's just pleasant to the ears and not echoey in a room. And so I would call it a minimum viable dose, the minimum viable product, minimum effective dose, MED, of production. So I don't think you need to go higher from here. That's there's a long way of just saying, y'all have really, I feel like, gotten your skills in order. Now it's more about, in my opinion, positioning and where it goes from here. And to me, the big idea is, I think with as long as you've been doing it, as many videos as you've been doing it, I think the lifestyle entertainment angle may not be the path. What I would say is, because of what you already, meaning I think we have to think about audience desire. Because again, if we're doing the audience desire to watch, am I accurate to say it's kind of a challenge format or a couple challenge format where you're trying things together, doing challenge? That's the entertainment format. Back to, in my opinion, what is just it's a more practical way forward. Because if you go this path, what you are looking to build as a fandom interested in this exact, the expression of you here with the sorbet, and we're sorbet, don't try this at home, versus, let's say, maybe being educators around, I mean, what you did here, and by the way, I guess 1,600 views also showed when you went kind of more product review, right?
Yeah.
It crushed.
Yeah.
Why haven't you uploaded in 3 months?
A few reasons. One was probably a lack of motivation, and we also had a death in the family, and just all sorts of things. But I think ultimately we have to take responsibility and just admit that it was just a lack of motivation. And then when we got closer to Christmas, Maria said, "Oh, let's try Vlogmas." To which I was like,
and then you took the videos down. So
you
did upload, but now you've kind of cleaned up.
Yeah. So we did do Vlogmas, to which I was a bit apprehensive, and I even said, look, that's nothing to do with how we want our channel to be. Like, we're not a vlogging channel. We want to go in the direction of kitchen appliances, recipe videos. I want to keep it in the kitchen. But Maria was like, no, we need to get some stuff out there, like Vlogmas. Let's do it.
But to be fair, that also showed that we could potentially edit really quickly, like a lot quicker than we used to. We used to spend like at least a month editing one video, and then through Vlogmas, it was just rolling out. So,
listen, y'all. Oh, number one, I'm sorry to hear about the death in your family, and by the way, thank you. Like, lack of motivation is real. The ups and downs, the mental toll, also the level of perseverance y'all have put into this is absolutely commendable. Coming from me, of course, always shooting straight with everybody, but truly from my perspective and truly with the journey you've had with us, this is my feeling. Your future is so bright. I got to wear sunglasses.
Thank
you. Too kind.
Y'all are perfectly positioned right now. And what Alex said in terms of the clarity going forward, again, right, it's just as far as practicality, I think right niche, right positioning, right understanding of marketing, what's the total addressable market, what do people want, and I think your Ninja Blast video is already proof of what's possible. Your ability to cut, edit, the quality of the footage. By the way, the intelligence on this thumbnail, it's super smart. I mean, it's y'all know, y'all know what you're doing, and so and. Again, if we go Ninja Blast with the quality and knowing what you've learned from editing and maybe how you've learned going this way and that way and Vlogmas and that, and okay, what is a lean video that delivers on a promise? Y'all have heard of the versus strategy in VRA, Ninja Blast versus. Y'all do Ninja Blast versus NutriBullet or Blend 2 Jet. Pick one of those up. 96,000 views, 13,000 views. The affiliate income that could come off of that. Let's see, Ninja. Creamy versus maybe a different one, and the versus the deluxe. Let's look at it. 116,000, 168,000. And one of the things to consider. Okay, so this channel, can you match? I'll just be very observational here. Could you match Joe's quality? Like, if we just take an objective assessment. The information he communicates, his ability to communicate, his ability to edit. My look at your most recent video, you're on par with him or just as good or of equal or better quality. So could you rank a video like Joe has done in time codes and chapters? And have you gone through the ringer to develop all the skills that you have now? And even to the point of you as a couple, to me, objectively, is more interesting than Joe solo. Respect to Joe. I don't even know Joe, but like respect to, because you're, you as a couple, the dynamic you have, maybe the way you deliver, like what you guys have done in terms as Mr. and Mrs. Beefcake has all been the ingredients. And it makes me want to remind Coffee with Cannell, where we'll link to an episode about don't quit YouTube, or when you should quit YouTube, about Seth Godin's book, The Dip. And it's when to quit and when to stick. But the dip is we start and we're all pumped, and then we enter this cavern of like views, Vlogmas, this, that, some success, most success. Life hits us too. Death in a family, challenges. And very few people make it through the dip. But there's also in the dip, a lot of times what we end up quitting is we don't quit YouTube. We quit a format. We quit what we were doing. Out of the feedback we've gotten, we double down. And what's wild to me is actually the level of clarity here. Your 3 month ago video, because if you just kept getting 2,000 views a video, that actually is actually pretty practical for like really seeing affiliate income tick up and some stuff happen. But here's what's coming your way is 20,000, 40,000, 80,000. And to be clear, I think by focusing on maybe kitchen appliances as couples, because it's review specific products. You just know that's, and I think the final thing I would consider though, is I would consider a rebrand. Yeah. I think the wedding picture, it has that vlog feeling to it. Like just follow us as a couple, follow us, as opposed to subscribe because we will help you solve a problem. But here's where let's like bring it all together. What I'm not talking about is like soulless product review videos. I think what you guys have fought to build as a couple in terms of maybe banter with each other, a little bit of comedy. You have two character. What are the assets? That's what you have going for you. Again, compared to Joe, and Joe seems to be crushing it. Joe has Joe. I don't know what his situation is, but you have each other. There's two characters. Like for everybody watching this, we want to build brands and personal brands, and edutainment is always going to be better than just education. And it doesn't mean, of course, like huge rabbit trails, but what would it look like to be one of the most fun and entertaining channels that is around a couple in relation to household appliances, cleaning the house, all of that. But what now with the intelligence of affiliate marketing, brand deals, do you see where I'm going with this? Yeah. And then the quality of what you're doing, your ability to create some thumbnails and then really ride the next 3 years of the creator economy. I'm not trying to overhype this. I think that, again, you put in a lot of work to get here. You're still in VRA, so you can triple down on VRA masters and lean into some of this stuff. But I think even just how much money's in the system, as we know, the next 3 years are going to be the best 3 years in the creator economy. It's like massive brand deals, all this stuff. And what you've already kind of touched on, I think if you triple down on this, did you watch Niche Finder?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I think of maybe, of course, you can rename your channel. Like you can change the handle. If you want to keep it, that's fine. But I think if you became a little bit more on, like, if we look at what these channels are, Just a Dad videos, Joe's Phenomenal, I guess, kind of Exercise for Cheap Meats, DM Finds. These aren't great brands to me. I mean, Kitchen Alchemy from the Modern Pantry, it's probably my favorite. Look at this brand, right? So the brand here, and this, I don't know, maybe this is a feature channel. You have multiple creators. Not even, I think could be a lot to be improved. I'm just looking at the name. I think you guys can now build a brand together, and I don't see why you couldn't just have every door of opportunity. Pro Home Cooks. That's a strong brand.
Yeah.
And so any final thoughts? I mean, what do you think about your next moves?
Well, we are in very much agreement with what you said. The only sort of counter argument or problem I have with appliance videos is we're not in a position at the moment where I can go and buy, say, a new appliance every week. So would you say recipe videos are still relevant, or would you say that's completely, going down a different path? Because I do agree with you on the appliances, especially doing versus videos. But I just think the position we're in now, we haven't got any brand deals. I can't go and, if I want to compare the Ninja Blast to the Blend Jet, I haven't got the kind of money to go and buy the Blend Jet. And do you see where I'm going? So I don't know if you feel like recipe videos it would still fit with our niche, with our channel. Because me personally, I think that's a good way to go. But it'd be good to get your opinion.
Yes. So let's break down tactical next steps for how to leverage our strategy called review specific products when resources are tight. So if I'm you, and I can relate because I have been in every season of creation, when my wife and I were 6 months away from $0 in our bank account, and I saw the power of doing product reviews, but couldn't buy every different thing. Number one, take the product you have and triple down on spin-off videos of it. So you already have the Ninja Creamy, right?
Yeah.
So you can go, rather than kind of more like the reaction entertainment videos you do, you go Ninja Creamy recipes. You go Ninja Creamy, not versus, because you don't have another one yet. How to use, you go tutorial on it. And you realize that could pull 77,000 views. And you look at the competition and you think about how you could spin off all around the one product that you have. The template for me was quite literally cameras, right? But it was the M50. And we've continued that template today, but it was Canon M50, 7 tips for video, Canon M50, 7 tips for photography, Canon M50 review, pros and cons, Canon M50 4K and slow motion test. So I would take one product, Canon M50 best lenses, and I only had 3, and I would cover those. I didn't have all of them. Canon M50, and I would take one product that I had, and I would go 10 or 20 layers deep on it.
Yeah.
I think strategy number 2 is making a strategic investment into the next best product. So it's not a volume play. It's the next thing that then when you compare it to, you could do the same thing with all like 10 layers deep on that. And then you also can leverage the comparison. So I hear you. I can't go buy every piece of tech. I think our mindset spins off into that, every kitchen appliance. But then I would challenge you, how could you go buy the next one? Now, this brings to kind of a painful story, but it's not that painful because look at me now, Mom, we're doing all right. Like the painful story was when I was starting this whole thing, I sold 6 boxes of comic books, 4 boxes of action figures, 2 boxes of customized card games like Star Wars, CCG, Black Border, the entire set. I was just on eBay thinking about rebuying it as a triumph, because now I was like $500 for the original Star Wars customizable card game. I was selling all of this collection, probably like only for a few $100s. And in hindsight, it was kind of sad, but was it? Because what was I investing in? My YouTube dream. So I was selling stuff from around my house. I had like Spawn 1 through, and these weren't like super. I had some early X-Men, Spider-Man, Marvel, Image, like, and I sold. So I wonder, what do you have? What could you flip on Facebook Marketplace? What could you? And all I'm talking about is to get that one next strategic piece.
Yeah.
Because with the rebrand and notice I also said there's 10 layers deep you could go on the Ninja Creamy, not on as much entertainment, on specific VRA style videos. So that's already a lot of work you could do. But then in doing so, okay, a little more affiliate, a little more Amazon clicks, a little more stuff's coming in. But 1, I bet you could find the money if you needed to find that next strategic thing. But 2, what could you do in the next couple of weeks to just get that next step?
Yeah.
I think I'm not overestimating being irresponsible and just like maxing out credit cards.
Mm-hmm.
But even though we have Dave Ramsey coming to our conference, I've always been a proponent of smart risk.
Yeah.
Not stupid, but like smart moves. Oh, I just bought everything. I didn't even like just that one move. And then my third strategy that I would tell you, which is kind of the same, but I think Jen Sewing Report is a great example, is you are one video away. And we did a clip here on the channel about these videos, but you're one video away from like thousands of dollars in affiliate income. And so, when I say that next investment, when she did this PE 800 embroidery machine or this Segur 1034, she saw this coming. She kind of understood her niche, which y'all need to understand, kitchen stuff, right? And she saw like, okay, she didn't have a lot of money, but it was like a $600 to $800 investment to buy these machines. And she focused on that practical, rankable, not a lot of people were talking about brother at the time. She kind of found this, which is what we teach like 7 letters deep in VRA. Like, how do you identify the intersection of like a budget friendly thing, maybe a particular brand, if it was like a car channel, maybe it's Kia going into EVs compared to this. And so everyone's doing Tesla and you see the opportunity to go Kia because now they're triple. Like, so for her, it was the brother sewing machine. And single-handedly though, these videos literally have made her thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. So that is with where this could go next. That's within reach. And that's, to me, I can come up with $800 based on that vision. And then I back it up with the work. So that's what I would think about there. And then I think number 4, and I wouldn't spend too much energy on this, but I would do this for sure. And I think I would network a little bit with Twitter, LinkedIn, with kitchen brands. Maybe not in the next month. I think in the next month, I'd try to put at least 1 high quality video out a week. And if you could keep quality high, maybe 2. But like, get over 1,000 subscribers, right? Get the channel dialed in, get the branding dialed in, get over 1,000 subscribers, especially if it is more like pro home cooks or something. I think then your channel will be interesting to some brands. And I think what I would then be doing is networking around this idea of even lender units. So I think that, and it's not even a brand deal. You just need to dip your toes into that free product. So I remember it was more negotiation skills. And I would say for those listening, subscribe to the podcast we have and the channel, Think Media Podcast. We've got Justin Moore coming on, and we had this exact conversation. Maybe even UGC content creator negotiation stuff. You could look into that, because now this is the skill set you've developed. Y'all have the crispy videos, the charisma as a couple, the ability to produce videos. You could get brand deals, not because of the size of your channel. It's a negotiation pivot because of the quality of the video you could create that maybe they leverage and they use as ads and they put over here and there. Probably not from Phillips or Panasonic because too big. But who are some of the direct-to-consumer kitchen appliance brands, Amazon brands, some different brands? You start learning those and them giving you free product, them giving you a couple $1,000s to produce a video for you. Yes, maybe your video gets 800 views, but they have the rights to run ads on it. You guys starting to step into this arena of the UGC creator world. And again, around this kind of pro kitchen appliance, or maybe it's a little bit broader, like pro home or, whatever. And I know you've watched Niche Finder, but I think maybe even rewatching it through the lens of this conversation, we've got really tactical here. And I think that in summary, those are like layers of thinking. I think that if you brand well, you're positioned for free product. If you go the UGC creator route, you're positioned for free product. I think you could sell stuff around your house and find money. You're positioned for, making strategic investments in one video that allows you to go 10 or 20 layers deep, and 2 products that combined create another 10 videos. That would be me buying the M50 and the Sony A6400. Multiplied, there's like 10 videos around just those 2 cameras or the accessories around them, etc. That kind of thinking says I don't need 100 pieces of tech. I just need a couple strategic pieces of tech. And I would even throw in there, again, Scare money don't make money. I am not encouraging you to take on debt or anything like that, but leveraged debt, people take out small business loans. People do use 0% interest cards. People do. I'm not even sharing that advice broadly to everybody listening to this, literally just to you personally. At least from my vantage point, where you're at with the ability to produce content, I'm just saying, I mean, if you could get a 0% loan from a family member, a lot of this, like the Book of Proverbs, are warned against that. I'm just saying, I see it. So this is what business people have done. They have been like, I'm watching The Bear season 2 on Hulu with my wife, one of my favorite shows, just so cool. But like, as a family, is building this restaurant. And again, I would never be a huge proponent of again, leveraging debt unwisely. But sometimes we do need, if you go to, I think thinkprimellc.com, again, it's a super niche thing, something you could check out and others could check out. The word Think Prime LLC, we'll link that up. They do have the ability to do like lines of credit for businesses and business funding, 0 to 2% interest. That's not attached to you personally. Again, they'll do a free call about setting up tax savings, asset protection. By the way, everything we're talking about, I hope you're already doing that as far as tax savings. I'm not saying this is for everybody, but if you are looking for that, we'll link that up in the show notes. I'm talking to that to you personally because I feel it. You have clearly put in the work, proven you've got the diligence, proven you have the commitment, proven you have the track record, developed your video skills. You've passed like 13 wisdom tests. So and my advice to you is like, it's like they who've been faithful with little will be given more. I feel like you've been responsible. You've shown the work ethic. You've shown the hustle. Again, I would be very thoughtful about that. But to me, I've definitely made moves like that in my career. I actually started my business, Clear Vision Media, off of a website called prosper.com. And I took out a $7,000 loan to get a video editing computer and get some new stuff. And so again, like, if you see where I'm coming from, I knew my hustle. I knew I could pay that thing off and would pay that thing off by waiting tables. So I knew that's $7,000. It's not that crazy, but it was seed capital for a clear vision. So I would add that to the conversation. I know can be all different feelings about that, but I think it's something to consider because what you guys have, I think, is special. And I genuinely believe that after the right moves, after this conversation, that things could get really interesting for you in the next 6 to 12 months.
Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much.
That's very nice to hear you say that. Thank you very much.
Appreciate you so much. And thank you. Last thoughts. What are your thoughts on how long you guys been in VRA?
Ooh, over a year.
No, just about.
Oh, no, it's coming up to a year.
Yeah,
coming up to a year.
Coming up to a year in April.
When did you first hear about it?
That's a good question.
It was way over a year ago. I initially discovered you guys on YouTube about nearly 2 years ago now. And then we decided to
jump in.
Yeah.
Well, appreciate you being in the community. What have you thought about the community and the support or the Think team as far as your experience?
Amazing.
Brilliant.
Everyone is so supportive. The Facebook group is phenomenal. The everyone in there is so friendly, so supportive. Just great. It's just a great community to be a part of, to be honest.
Yeah, and everyone's really positive. There's no negative like niggles or anything like that. It's just everyone's just been so amazing.
Well, appreciate hearing that. That's the culture we want to build, and so grateful for you. Hey, I mean it. I think that some strategic moves from where you are right now, everything's been building to this point, and the future is bright.
Thanks very much, Sean. Thank you for your time.
All right, y'all. We'll talk soon.
Take care.
Bye.
My friends, that was kind of a masterclass, and I hope that you're getting value from the nuance of some of these conversations. Do me a favor and let me know your aha moment and your next step. I got 1 or 2 questions here. We're an hour and 39 minutes into our show. One of the reasons why we do the Coffee with Cannell show is I love hearing your feedback. One of my inspirations. Dave Ramsey, who is our speaker this year, has committed to going live 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. Now he's got other people. Maybe he's a little bit of a lighter schedule. It used to be 3 hours a day to do his radio show, but that just helped him kind of like stay connected to what's happening. And so one of the reasons why I love doing this show is to hear your feedback. So I'm curious, what have you been learning? What are some of the aha moments? And what is the next action item that you feel after listening today? We are not just gathering information. We are taking action. And I'm trying to get growthvideolive.com to work. It's not working for me, so that's not very helpful. But today's video is brought to you by Growth Video Live. There it goes. If you use www in case the website's not working, you could check it out. April 24th through the 26th. Super fired up that we got the legend himself. Dave probably wouldn't approve my recent advice that I was just given about perhaps getting some kind of seed investment into your small business. But there are times. Anybody watching The Bear? Anybody seen that show on Hulu? Man, it makes me cry. And it really does. Like that show like hits my my emotions. Some of the feedback: value overload. I love it. Future is bright, Drea says. But let's talk about this. Reinforce the idea on content over production. Reminds me of Field of Dreams. Love it. Love The Bear. Did you watch season 2, Pastor Fury? There's so many. By the way, I think about The Bear too. And I'm like, man, I want to be a better leader at Think Media. I want to create a more, I just want our culture and love and support, even though we might fight. You know, that's kind of the vibe. Even though we might disagree and it might be tough as you're remodeling and rebuilding and taking risk and shooting for deadlines together and believing in people, believing that you could be my sous chef. I want to start calling everybody at Think Media chef. All right, chef. Thank you, chef. And so, yes. What are we talking about? If you build it, they will come. Couple of questions coming up. I do want to encourage you though, this. If you haven't got your tickets for Growth Video Live, what are you doing? In fact, check this out.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Dave Ramsey.
I am amazed at the things we don't do because we have this little tiny bit of fear that offsets all the other data and all the other evidence in our life that causes us to not go do something. You know, no one accidentally wins. You become what you think about. If you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Because effort, talent, education, bothering to show up is not equal. I'm amazed at the number of people that the only thing holding them back, they're going to the next level in their business, the next level in their leadership, the next level in their marriage, the next level with their parenting, the next level in their wealth building. The only thing holding them back is they don't believe they can. Together, we're going to rise up, baby. We're going to go to a whole different level that we've never been to before. Every one of us in this room are going to leave changed.
Together, we're going to rise up, baby. We're going to go to a whole nother level that we have never been to before. Together, every single one of us is going to change. Join Dave Ramsey, myself, and some other incredible speakers at growwithvideolive.com. Get your ticket. This is the Coffee with Cannell show, and want to hit a couple quick questions. Think Media Podcast, how do you know when you move on from each season? RC Amigos. If you haven't watched the replay of this episode, save this video, share this video, like this video. At the beginning, for 23 minutes, I shared about quality versus quantity. Season 1 is quantity, volume, because you're building your skills. Season 2 is quality, you're refining your skills. Season 3 is both. You know, you move on from season 1, I would say, once you have a large enough sample size that you're getting feedback. There's no magic number of videos, but if you do study a lot of large YouTube channels, like an MKBHD, like a Mr. Beast, like a Joe Rogan, a video podcast. It's 10 years old. But a lot of times you see that there's 30 uploads is like the lowest number. I think it's more like 50, maybe 100. That sounds crazy, but 100, 200 uploads. If you're over 100, that would be my rounded number. If you're over 100 uploads and you've put in high effort to those videos, meaning you've been thoughtful about the topics, titles, thumbnails, you've have some level of clarity on your brand, not 100 uploads of, oh, look at the pigeons today. Do you see that pigeon? Is that a boy or a girl? Oh, what a cute pigeon. Like it's cool you uploaded that, but like, I don't even know what that video was about. Who knows? It might have went viral because that was kind of entertaining. Like, what is Sean? Like, I mean, you like, who is your channel for? What problem does it solve? Like clarity, you're 100 in. It's time to move to quality. It's time to say, okay. And you also, I think you should move on from the season if your life is sped up too much. Oh my gosh, I'm on this hamster wheel. Like my routine, like I hear people tell me this. Here's my schedule. I upload 4 long form a week. It's 10 shorts a week. I do a live video podcast on Saturday and I stream it and then I post it, and that I'm hammering my schedule. But like, it's not working. That is a sign that, number one, by the way, like in the courage of Mr. and Mrs. Beefcake, who were just on, they've posted a lot of videos and they're not past 1,000 subscribers yet. But mark my words, on the other side of them executing, it's about to pop off, because I think they've been in season 1. Quantity. They did Vlogmas. It taught us to edit faster. It taught us to do some things. But the exact conversation we just had was the conversation of then pivoting to quality, focusing on quality, ranking videos, connecting it to passive income streams. And then their next season will be both. And the only time you know you can go into both is now you do have money for the mission. You have at least somebody hired, even if they're a contractor. You have somebody editing. You have passive income coming in. You have team and systems in place, and you're establishing that. And so those are some thoughts on how to know what season you're into. What is VRA? So VRA is called, it's Video Ranking Academy. It's our main YouTube course, online course, and it's a 7-step system. So it's a proprietary process that we've developed here at Think Media, that of how we approach YouTube, the steps we take as we optimize our channel with these 7 steps. And every upload we go through 7 steps and they repeat. So each time we're intentional about starting with the end in mind, about doing our research, about recording and structuring the video. And then it's our foundational framework and process, the 7 R's we call them in the Video Ranking Academy system. But it's also a beginner to advanced course. Like we just uploaded 8 hours of mastery level content on what's called VRA Masters. If you're interested in that, probably the best place to start is to go to thinkmasterclass.com, because at thinkmasterclass.com, you can check out a class where I kind of give you an overview of what it is, totally free, and whether the VRA is right for you or not, or you want to join it or not, no big deal. I highly encourage you to watch the 1-hour deep dive at thinkmasterclass.com, which is just kind of like an intro. It's like giving you like a free module in a way. So it's a win-win because it's free. And if you want to check out more about Video Ranking Academy, I'll tell you a little bit about it at the end of thinkmasterclass.com. And let's see. Could you do a versus video of an item against itself, the results of one setting versus another? You could, but I don't think that's what people would be looking for, unless, of course, they are. By the way, you asking me that, here's the better question. Are people interested? Have I verified interest in this topic? In fact, Barks and Bullets, thanks for asking this, because that's the question. And Sean can give you some good advice, and I know a few things and I can use the tools, but actually you don't want to know if Sean's interested, or my opinion, is the market interested? We don't have time to go deep into that. But if you see what we're after here is before you press record, you want to verify interest. So could you do a versus video of one setting versus another setting? Of course. You can do anything you want. It's YouTube. It's your tube. But the more important step is verifying interest. So an idea came to my mind. What if we just said Tesla ludicrous mode versus, so Tesla ludicrous mode versus Hellcat versus Plaid versus Lamborghini versus Ferrari. I mean, it got 5 million views here. Now, these are obviously two different cars. And this was me. This is how I researched it, though. What did I do? I went to the YouTube search bar and I typed in the feature. So what if we went Peloton mode? Let's see. What are the modes? Race mode versus Plaid. Is that even a thing? No, Peloton race mode versus game mode. And I'm actually kind of hitting a dead end here, which is good because too many people go off and make a video and they didn't verify that it's a good idea first. This is what we teach you to do inside of this program. We could spend so much energy making a video and titling it, and we get in our own head. Why don't we go do some research to identify? So, again, I'm thinking of another one, Final Fantasy 7. Okay. Final Fantasy 7 remake hard mode versus, so I don't know if anybody, versus game mode. It actually was predicted, but let's see. Should you play in classic or normal? There's a good example. Should you play in classic or normal mode? So that's one video game. There's two different modes. It's not really VS versus, but it is the two different things. And the video got 226,000 views. Now, mind you, it's IGN, but notice what we've done here. Best weapons, best materia. So at first, forgive my reaction to the question, actually inspired this rant, which is, I think, a pretty powerful rant. I actually think you could do one setting versus another setting, but don't get in your own mind about it, like without going and looking. And what you're looking for is other ranked videos. Then you're going to use tools like vidIQ, our sponsor for today's Coffee with Cannell. I'm going to go look at trending videos. I could do keyword research with vidIQ. I want to verify interest in the topic. And maybe if I only verify interest in half of the topic, that was one of the secrets to my career coming up. Meaning this, if I can at least, here's the keyword research tool. If I can at least verify Final Fantasy hard mode, let's say, and I can verify that it's pretty good score here. Final Fantasy Remake. Let me look at the keywords. Boss fight hard mode, 2,374 searches a month. Low competition. Then what, at least I know that half of a title, like if I'm going to compare this to something else, then I know at least half of the title is understood by an audience. So maybe I want to introduce a piece of tech that is unknown, but I compare it to a piece of tech that is known. That's better than nothing being known and there being no desire for either. This would all be packaging and positioning. So ultimately, that's research before you press record is the big idea. And that's what we mean when we say that. And that's why tools like vidIQ.com/think can be helpful. In fact, that is probably one of the greatest assets, is having a suite of tools so that you can, again, make data-driven decisions before you press record. Because to take a shower, which why do you even need to take a shower? Unless we had smell-o-vision, you wouldn't even be able to. But before you take a shower and try to pick out a cool hat that has the letter of your first name on it and actually plan out your thing and come. By the way, again, I didn't come into this Coffee with Cannell willy-nilly. We came out swinging. I'm so frustrated with the exposure on this camera angle. It's because there's light leaking through. It's not horrible, but it's just not as rich. Maybe I'm overthinking it. I like this angle better. We didn't come out willy-nilly. Strong title, strong thumbnail, strong 23 minutes of opening content, purposefully structured. That was not quantity. This was a live stream, but it was, I spent 20% extra time revising my opening thoughts into structure, into points, into teaching points. I looked at it a couple times, Google Docs, thought about it ahead of time. I'm also not, this video is not a masterpiece. It's a show we do a couple times a month, but it's 20% extra. That 20% extra beyond what others would do because they just wing it and go live. I don't know. It's helpful. We'll see. Count the numbers. Look at the charts. Look at the Social Blade stats. Okay. Friends, we are coming up on our 2-hour time limit. Not even there is a time limit. I do want to say I appreciate you. Thank you for being a part of today's Coffee with Cannell show. And you could check out some show notes and links in the resource below. As a recap of some things, I would recommend this. If you want to be uncomfortable, if you want to kill your complacency, if you're willing to stretch your thinking, then check out this book, 10X is easier than 2X. I need to get Dr. Benjamin Hardy on the Think Media podcast. He said yes a couple times, but life's busy. We're trying to do some things. If you're going to be at Social Media Marketing World, or you know somebody that is, I'm traveling this week. I'm going to be in Vegas this weekend at One Rental at a Time, speaking tomorrow. I'm going to be in San Diego on Monday, speaking Social Media Marketing World. If by chance you wanted to hang out, check out the book, check out the masterclass, check out Grow with Video Live, check out vidIQ. We talked about a lot of things over the last 2 hours. Check out the replay. But more than anything, make a plan right now before you rush off to some other video. What are you going to do next? Not what are you going to learn next? What are you going to do next? Results happen on the other side of massive imperfect action. You cannot steer a parked car. It's time to get focused. It's time to press record. It's time to make your next best video. Drea said it right. Make your plan. What is your next action step? We are #action takers at Think Media, and I'm super grateful for you. Wendy, thanks for being one of our moderators and always being such an amazing friend of Think Media. And thanks for your feedback today. God bless you, Brigado, is that how I say your name? Appreciate you. Girl Dad Media, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being a part of the show. And I can't wait to connect with you in a future episode. Until then, my name is Sean Cannell, your guide to building a profitable YouTube channel. This is the Think Media podcast channel. Subscribe if you're not subscribed, like, share, and I will see you in a future stream.